Yeah, man. I don't know. You geeks, man. This used to be our second favorite pay-per-view after Royal Rumble. Hey, it's Money in the Bank weekend. Woo!
Whee!
All right. Well, Matt, we can't just have a show. We like to do an introduction. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to a briefcase cashing, ladder ascending, coffin drop coffin matching, Samoa Joe reviving episode of the Brothers of Discussion. We talk some awful injury news. God damn it. NXT demotions or promotions. Dive into another weekly edition of the Festival of Friendship. And of course, get you psyched for the second most exciting WWE pay-per-view of the year. Matt, it's all happening right now. And of course, Matt, I'm having a delicioso cerveza modelo negro modelo. Matt, is things nice and spicy where you are? Are they spicy?
I'm not drinking any beer. I don't have any alcohol on me tonight. I feel like I do better episodes recently if I don't have any, because I already don't get any sleep, and if I have booze, I get sleepy, and then by the end of the episode, I'm just nodding and just going, I don't know. This might be it. Everyone around me seems to be saying goodbye to alcohol at our age, and I don't know. I might be next. It's really rough with two kids.
Well, I don't have any kids. When are you going to say hello to Baja Blast Mountain Dew in a can? Because this is a solid investment, too. Oh.
Well, even like the last,
I'm kind of a chemist.
alcohol.
This gets me up, and then this brings me back down. So I like to have a nice, medium there.
Yeah, my last alcohol purchase was nitro cold brew infused with some sort of creamy alcohol, probably not Bailey's, but close to it. You know what I mean? I read through the ingredients list and I couldn't figure out what was in there, but I know it made me buzzed, and I was buzzed in two different ways. So that, to your point, that's like the only thing I can drink at this point is some sort of alcoholic coffee beverage.
I'm telling you, cherry bombs. What a invention that is.
Cherry bombs.
Little Red Bull, little vodka, huh?
Yeah.
That's what we drank when we were kids. It would keep us up all night. Matt, where can the beautiful people find us here before we dive into the show?
Well, I mean, the number one place to find us right now is our YouTube channel, which just blew up fucking last night. Gotta thank anybody that is into the NHL and hockey, because clearly we have found our audience. Maybe one day they'll be like, I gotta check out those wrestling shows.
You do. You're missing.
But that's on our YouTube channel, The Brothers of Discussion. Soon to be. There's got to be more programming coming. Mike, I've got scheduled. We're gonna check out some daycares, so Matt's gonna have some free time in the middle of the day again. We're gonna have grandparents coming over to babysit. So Matt might be able to get some work done again.
I like that.
Hey, I know. Haven't had any video ads coming out in a while. But you can also find us on our Twitch channel. We are the Brothers of Discussion there as well. I like the smattering of views we get there. Clearly, they want us to play some video games. We've already had some requests, so hopefully I can find the time to get in there. Mike, I played video games once in the last week. So, kids, again. And find us at BOD Podcast for the Twitter that we use on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and our Instagram that has certainly fallen by the wayside. Wayside, Mike, not the waste side, which is what I thought it was in high school.
You were alone on that one. Yeah.
It falls by your wayside, so you don't want it anymore. So that doesn't make sense to you? There's logic to my mistake. Trust me.
Moving on. All right. Matt, we got some rough injury news this week. Bailey. She's not going to be out for a short amount of time. She's going to be out for a long amount of time. Looks to be knee-related. Looks to be about 9 months. No Bailey for us. Matt, I don't know what more to add, except that Bailey had just been firing on all cylinders. Was one of the more compelling characters on Friday nights. And that's a tremendous loss. I know I've seen a few rumors that Becky Lynch is coming back. I don't know if she's coming back to Fridays because Mondays desperately need some Becky Lynch energy. But yeah, there's quite a few voids that need filling. We need a couple more Leopold Statches. We need some void fillers, and this couldn't have come at a worse time here. As the first live SmackDown is upon us.
And all the rumors with Becky coming back at Money in the Bank. I mean, it could be something where with Bayley going down, that's where they really had to force the issue, and it was less about when Becky was ready to go and how much money do we have to spend to bring her back, kind of thing. Now, I have all the confidence in the world in that division. I think, how do I want to put this? Bayley is clearly the MVP of the Thunderdome era, and we can't thank her enough. But if there's any, clearly I don't want her to get hurt. This is how I'm setting this up properly. I think I'm crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's. No, we don't want anybody to get hurt. But if there's a silver lining here, maybe it's an opportunity for somebody else to step up and show what they've got. Because we know we just saw a lot of deserving pro wrestlers get their release recently. And some of them were just mind-blowing. But this would be that opportunity for someone to prove that they shouldn't be on the next chopping block. So there's that. I mean, when somebody who's always in the spotlight goes down, they're always in the spotlight because they're really good. But there's your silver lining right there. Time for somebody else to step up and show that they should have some of that light. And not just speaking to the idea of Carmella getting her shots again. I think there's how long have we been playing the what's Liv Morgan going to turn into? Like this could be that time. But again, we'll see what happens. It is terrible for Bayley, and like I said, if you're losing like the MVP of your division right now, you can't be thrilled about it, but one silver lining. Maybe there's an opportunity for somebody to step up.
Yeah, it's almost like that movie Moneyball. You're not going to just replace Jason Giambi, but maybe you can kind of take I don't know, it's Selena Vega's charisma, maybe the potential of Liv, and I don't know where that third piece is going to come from, but we can piecemeal together and try and just elevate the entire division instead of relying so heavily on Bayley and her wonderful Doc Brown haircut. Kind of love that haircut, Matt. More female depth, being further skimmed here as Mandy Rose sent to NXT. Matt, hot tag. First question, first hot tag of the show. Mandy, when she comes back, is she going to be known as Man, D, or just Rose?
I wonder if there's like an and in there that we can work with, and she'll be like a sidekick to somebody else. So Otis finally becomes champ, and he needs his manager, and we'll be walking him to the ring. I couldn't go.
What a message that sends when the big guy he wins gold and then she wants to come back. Oh, I see how it is. All right.
I mean, it would be a fun story. It's one way to bring her back. I think we all had some sort of positive feelings towards the Otis and Mandy storyline.
I did want to bring that up in a little bit too. Otis's, his big moment at Money in the Bank, but for Mandy, it's not that long ago that we used to look at. We would even use the word demotion if somebody was going to NXT. When people said, when we heard Keith Lee was going to go down to NXT, we looked at it as a negative. But at this point, the way you and I are watching WWE programming, most of it is focused on Tuesday nights. And I don't know if we use that word anymore. It's a lateral move in the best way possible because now it feels like she's going to be the big fish in the smaller pond because that roster is a lot smaller. So I'm not saying that the quality is less. It's arguably the best quality that WWE can put together. So Matt, has it gotten to the point where it's not quite a demotion, but this is going to be kind of a reboot for her?
It's just movement. It's at this point, I like the word lateral. She's just going from one show to another. Definitely not a demotion because, like you just mentioned, there's one show that I still watch every week, and that would be NXT. So if you get moved to that show, I could make the argument based on what I see, based on what I enjoy watching, that's your promotion. You made it. You're on the show that Matt's gonna watch. Congratulations.
Yeah, I guess we'll be watching a lot more Mandy.
Exactly.
But you brought up a topic here for our show today, talking about jumping ship, and we know that Mondays and Fridays they've been a slog, if you will. It's been a wrestling fan endurance test to sit through repetitive booking week after week after week after week, feuds that will not die, rematches that will not stop rematching. And it's to the point, man, we support the stars of the show, but my God, if they ever switched programs, it might get to the point where you don't watch WWE anymore. And so, Matt, we brought up a list here, a lot of your handiwork. If these people moved over to AEW, would you still even be watching WWE? And I thought it was a cool idea, Matt. Is there anything you wanted to add to that preface there?
I mean, I kind of wanted you to make one too. I gave you a week. Damn it! We ended last week's show.
Know.
You got that homework a week ago.
That's fake news, man.
But yeah, I mean, basically, what I'm looking at here is after Malachi moves over, you already have Andrade making the move about a month ago at this point. And it just, the thought popped in my head where I was like, well, like, I'm trying not to be a fan of just the brand. I'm trying to think of, like, I'm looking for my favorite pro wrestlers, the guys I really enjoy watching on TV. I want to see them get the most TV time. And it just kind of occurred to me, like, all right, since I'm not necessarily, like, super loyal to any one brand, if they all move to one, I'm good. I'm like, this is the only thing I need to watch at this point. So that's where this came in. So we'll run the banner now at the bottom. Top 10 wrestlers that could end my WWE relationship. Yeah, it probably needs more description than that. If they moved, if they moved to AEW. All right, we'll try that. We'll try that one. There's a lot of capital letters that shouldn't be. It's all wrong, but the idea is there now. So now you guys can play along too if you have anybody you want to throw in there. But Mike, I did try to be. I tried to cut it off when it comes to the men and women's division. I tried to cut it off at 5 for both sides. So that's where this list is maybe the only handicap. So if you guys want to try and make your list and send it to me real quick, that's where I want you guys to at least have that one thought in mind is, boom, 5 on 5, 5 on either side. All right. So here we go. Mike, first person, and I guess if you agree with any, I don't know how you want to handle this. You can just go, yep, that's on my list. First person is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn moves over to AEW. That's a huge one for me. That's one where I support the man, probably like in his own outside WWE endeavors. I support him and his mission more than probably any other superstar right now. There may be one I'm forgetting that also has a fantastic mission, but Sammy wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's doing a lot of great work overseas. And, that's just one of those things where at least I can tell myself WWE is paying Sami Zayn, so they can't be all bad. But that's the name too when it comes to sheer talent and who do I enjoy watching? Sammy. But I probably need to run through this list a little bit faster.
I think you're ridiculous if somebody doesn't have this kind of list and doesn't include Sami Zayn. Man, he can literally do it all except be world champion for WWE. He's one of the best storytellers they have. I don't know. gets the crowd behind him. Whether he's babyface, he gets people to boo him by design as a heel. Man, he's a total package. I love this pick, absolutely. Matt, I'm going to throw one in there for you. If this tag team moved over, it's almost like WWE would have to just delete their tag team division because it's not just that they eat up all the segments, deservedly so, because they're the best. I think I tune in to see other tag teams battle this team on WWE programming. If New Day moved over, which at some point, unless Vince just has to give those guys crazy money to stay, because I think a lot of their dream matches would occur on Wednesday nights at this point. I would be fascinated to do some digging and see how long the three members, their contracts are, to see when they want to go over. Start battling Bucks and Jurassic Express and all those guys. My God, do you see them doing a feud with the Best Friends? Oh my God. Yeah. It's one of the most fun over acts in WWE, and if they moved over, I would be dedicating my life full time to AEW, pimping, viewing, and enjoying.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I actually struggled with that because I thought about just doing one member of New Day, and then it just didn't work. And then I was kind of thinking, do I cheat and put in all the New Day? Which, it's my little jab at your choice. But no, that is clearly a fantastic pick. I think one that AEW should actually look into based on where their roster is currently sitting right now. There's a lot of guys doing similar things, and the New Day does a very different thing. But I'm going to jump into the women's division here. We should probably knock out a couple of these at a time now that we're at minute 18. I mean, if I want somebody to face Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, I mean, this is where I'm looking at Asuka. This is where I'm looking at Bayley, Io Shirai. Those are probably my top three ladies in the WWE right now. So I'm gonna knock all three of them out at once. But clearly, I mean, tops not only in the division, tops in pro wrestling. Period. If it's about getting over in a company that struggles with a language barrier in both Asuka and Io Shirai, and to think that their talents, their ability to communicate, and of course tell a story in the ring it's almost their talent is almost limitless at this point, is what it feels like. And I mean, the struggles that AEW has had is that they do need something like this. So this is where with telling stories in their women's division, I still think they do struggle with, despite having one really good story in Dr. Britt Baker. I think they would just that would blow up for them if they could bring over those three. And of course, my enjoyment of WWE would lessen that much. Mike, those three ladies, did they make your list?
I'm gonna do all the women that I had on my list, and then just round it out with one last piece, because I don't want to drag this segment out too far. I'm sorry, Matt. Yeah, I mean, Asuka, Becky, I would throw Shayna in there, and Bianca. I mean,
true.
Like, if you we see what they're trying to do with Jade Cargill, and I just, Bianca's like the polished version of that. She would be easily the most intimidating woman on that program on AEW on Wednesday nights. She's just got so much natural ability. The power moves. I don't know if she has any peers like that in AEW. Hell, I don't know if she has any peers like that on WWE. Maybe Charlotte, maybe Rhea, but it's she's definitely a step above. She would be a mega ultra star, and I think she'd have a lot of good feuds. Like you mentioned with Shida, Britt Baker. My God, can you imagine the power display she could do with like Nyla Rose? Woo!
Right.
That would be really fun to see. And then just Shayna, because we know that she hasn't gotten much of a chance in WWE as far as being a winner. She did get to lose to Becky in a few high-profile matches, but it does feel like AEW does like to give a little bit more of a chance to the down and dirty fighters, and feels like that would be Shayna's place to shine. That is her MO. So I'm going to throw my last dude out there, and it's only because we've seen what kind of promo creative freedom that you get on Wednesday nights, where they do, for better or for worse, for some characters. They get you, let you kind of go off the cuff and create for yourself. And we've seen what the Fiend can do with a budget, right? It's been really good stuff to start his career. But to see him be able to, take the kid gloves off and, have Tony Khan in his corner be like, dude, whatever is in your noggin, put it out on the stage. We're all in. Double or nothing. Go ahead. Fighter Fest. I just wanted to name all their pay-per-views. But yeah, I think Bray Wyatt would love being on Wednesday nights. And I think it would start to get crowded because a lot of people would want to, kind of rub elbows with one of the best wrestling minds, modern day. But yeah, it would be fun to see him without, having to worry about being PG. Obviously, WWE's giving him some leash on that, but to really see him go off the rails, exploding death match. We've seen Britt and Thunder Rosa, with the crimson masks. Chair shots to the head. Not that we're advocating, but I'm just saying that level of leash, that level of leeway would be for the Fiend's creative mind. I would love to see that.
Quick shout out to Chantel on Twitch, who is giving us the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer rub of letting us know how cute we are. And I just can't help but think of the little claymation Christmas show where Rudolph flies into the sky and goes, I'm cute. Thanks, Chantel. But yeah, the last woman on my roster was Rhea Ripley, and I think it's pretty obvious. I've soured on what they've been doing with her on WWE. So at this point, I want her moved over to AEW for that reset, and I think that would just help me fall back in love with that character. But on the men's side, this is really just a who's who of my favorites, because I haven't mentioned it yet, but I mean, we're not talking about young guys. We're not talking about moving, up and comers here. This is the three of three of my top three favorites is McIntyre, Daniel Bryan, and AJ Styles. So clearly, you're losing a lot on the WWE side if those three guys decided to jump ship. Yeah. But I also think we might be looking at, Daniel Bryan being the only one with that real opportunity, and the rumor mill is starting to build that he would be jumping over, and that's another reason I wanted to throw this list out there. But yeah, AJ and McIntyre look like at this point, AJ wants to wrap up and probably coach, is what I think we've been reading. I can't believe that it's been a couple of years since AJ's last interview where he said, I've got only 2 more years left in me. It's already been 2 years, and look at what he's doing right now. He's nowhere near the main event. I mean, I guess we could make the argument that's easy for him to jump right back into at this point, but goddamn, the end of AJ could be just around the corner. So the likelihood very small, but McIntyre, he already got let go. He's done what he needed to do in WWE, and it already looks like he's gonna fall back a little bit. So
he's gonna turn into a Sheamus,
Yeah, if he wants to rule,
take a back seat, and
Oh my God, that is perfect. He is about to turn into Sheamus. Holy shit balls! Sheamus
you get your Royal Rumble, you get a WrestleMania match, and you just kind of Thanos off into the long grass.
Well, I mean, with that, let me recap real quick my list. So we'll just go top to bottom here. McIntyre, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn on the men's. And then Asuka, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Io Shirai, and Rhea Ripley on the women's side. Mike, do you want to run through your list real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. A couple I didn't get to mention for the women. I would have put Ember Moon in there because I never get to see her up into the stratosphere like I always dream I will.
I'll get that back up in a sec there, Greg. Sorry.
Yeah, and it would have been Ember, Shayna, Becky, Bianca, and Asuka. If they moved over, it would be the most fascinating division in wrestling. And for the men, Matt, one person I didn't mention, Nakamura, a just unquantifiable number of dream matches to see Shinsuke come over to AEW. But joining him would be Sami Zayn. So I kind of piggybacked that one, McIntyre. And then I had The Fiend. And Matt, at number one, without a doubt, if New Day went to Wednesday nights, Matt, Wednesday nights would be must-see TV for me. From minute 1 to minute 120, I would not move from my couch on Wednesday nights. I would cancel other plans. I would tape and record other things. Matt, birth children, somebody videotape it because the New Day's on Wednesday nights.
Would that be? Could I like the hot tag on this would have to be?
Yeah.
I don't need all of these people to jump ship, but for you, would New Day be the one? Like, if that one happened,
a lot of them would get my interest for definitely for the foreseeable future. But if New Day jumped, man, that is such a draw for me as a viewer. Not just seeing them, but seeing what they'd be capable of on a program that cares about tag team wrestling. They've never been a part of that. They've been a part of a division that it's literally just them and somebody else fighting for 6 weeks until they switch up the feud. Now they could literally just do something brand new every single week, which I got to think would be just pie in the sky dreams for them at this point, because they've already achieved all you could ever possibly achieve as a tag team under the WWE umbrella.
For me, I think the one and only, like the top one to
Ricochet?
move.
No? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I think
really want to see Ricochet, Matt Sydal. All right, I can't wait to see that. Yep.
I know we're gonna get a lot of eye rolls, but if it was McIntyre, that would be the end of my. Like, I wouldn't need to watch Raw and SmackDown anymore. It'd be just AEW.
He can't go over. He's too big, man.
All right. Wrapping this up, we'll do a terrible transition into our next topic, but real quick. Greg was thrown in there. Shane has been a tag champ for quite a while, so he did throw in that comparison to Bret Hart. Maybe there'll be a Hart Foundation era of her career. So she's just maybe moving herself up. So maybe, Greg, what you're saying is she's going to get a shot. She's going to get a WrestleMania main event, and then all of a sudden she'll jump ship over to AEW. That's right. And then she'll break someone's back. Or wait, help me out. Who did Bret screw Bret, or did he break someone's back, or am I mixing that up with somebody else?
You're thinking of Owen Hart breaking Austin's neck.
Oh my God. What I thought you were about to say. Jesus. All right. Amy thrown out there. Goodbye, Drew. And of course, AEW is a must see.
Yeah, Amy, I want to know if there's a WWE roster member who jumped ship, and then if that person did so, would you ever tune into WWE again? Who is that one name that if they left, you know what? I'm just an AEW lifer. I'm good. But I know we wanted to do, we like doing our tweet length reviews of, we call it the Festival of Friendship now that they're not on the same night anymore. Next Extra Time Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling. Matt, who do you think, just eyeballing the card here, who won?
I mean, we did have an NXT Championship match on NXT.
Yeah, I like your number one. Yeah, I'm gonna go first, Matt. So we do the top 3 moments. We throw in a dishonorable mention, and Amy, I'm still waiting to hear that one name from you. I gotta say, geez, oh Pete, number 3, if only because it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it at number 3. I'm gonna do it number 3. Man, it was the Machine, Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks, Brian Cage. This has been building for months. Slowly, it's been a slow burn, Matt. It hasn't been a WWE feud where they give it to us ad nauseum week after week after week. Brian Cage very suddenly said, you know what, Sting is not so bad, you guys. And Taz and friends did not like that. And now Brian Cage is apparently turning babyface because of that comment. And he dropped his FTW as Fuck the World Championship over to Ricky Starks. Matt, the only misstep in this match is that I don't know if the producers realized how behind Ricky Starks that crowd was going to be because Brian is supposed to be the baby. Ricky's supposed to be the heel. He had goons in his corner wearing Hanes t-shirts, just plain white tees. Ricky cheated, won, and the crowd could not have been happier. So this was just a fun reminder of like the impact a wrestling crowd can have on a wrestler's career. And Ricky Starks looks like he's, on the path. If The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was Kane, Ricky Starks is definitely walking the path that Kane built for him, if I may. This was moment number 3. Really fun match. And if you missed wrestling crowds, this is one I would definitely tune in for. Matt, moment number 3 in NXT.
And real quick, Amy did get us in there. She's right there with me. It's been pretty rough trying to watch Raw and SmackDown. So clearly, WWE does not deserve Rhea Ripley anymore. So Amy's with us right there. Rhea.
I don't even recognize Rhea anymore. I used to be so excited for every segment she did. Now I'm kind of like,
Right.
I'll catch the rematch next week.
So number 3 for me, Mike. For NXT, my tweet length review.
Hey, I did a fleet. All right, rest in peace to fleets. I did a whole fleet on mine. I'm sorry.
Dakota Kai defeats Ember Moon. I enjoyed this because this is going to start fueling my Raquel Gonzalez Dakota Kai stuff. Xia Li walks right up to Raquel and asks for a championship match and walks through Dakota Kai to do so. This is just going to anger Dakota. It's going to be something where she wants to continue to try and prove herself. I love that this is fueling that fire. So I'm all about this segment, and it was the right person who won. The post-Shotzi era for Ember Moon isn't starting out great, and it might not go so great for a while. I'm sniffing a Mia Yim kind of run here, but absolutely. Give me that fuel for the Dakota Kai Raquel Gonzalez eventual championship match. And sorry, Xia Li, that you're about to go down.
No, don't say it.
Mike, number 2 for AEW?
Number 2 for AEW. Matt, I was going to put it higher, but that other match just had too many fun spots in it. And this one was cheating because it was just a hot crowd from out of the gate. But, man, it was Moxley versus Hot Carl Anderson, the machine gun. But I like calling him Hot Carl. They were doing battle for the IWGP United States Championship. This crowd was just eating out of Moxley's hand like so many hungry birds in a forest. They could not wait to be a crowd. They could not wait to be a live crowd. They could not wait to root for Jon Moxley, punching and slapping and kicking his way to victory. But I think one of our next segments we're going to do is we're going to draft guys who are known to be tag team wrestlers. And we kind of alluded to it with Kane, but this is a little bit different. We're going to draft guys who would be excellent singles wrestlers, but instead they've dedicated their lives to tag team wrestling. And Carl Anderson would definitely be a top 10 pick because every time he has a singles match, you forget what a goddamn superstar that guy could be. And instead he's dedicated his life to being with the big fella, Gallows. So hats off to Carl, hats off to John, but most importantly, Matt, hats off again to a live crowd. Matt, moment number 2, next extra time.
All right, now this is another loaded one, but I couldn't not have a segment with Legado del Fantasma and Dexter Lumis. Like, clearly, I was glued to the screen already. But it is Santos Escobar. What was that?
There's a lot of man meat.
It is Santos Escobar going over Dexter with some help, so everybody's staying even. But this got even juicier for Matt, just for me, because Hit Row comes out to face Legado del Fantasma. Standing at the top of the entrance ramp, just like, what's up? Like, it was beautiful. But to cap this whole segment off, I got an Indy Hartwell coming out to rescue Dexter Lumis and trying to carry him away from the ring. And for what I hope is going to eventually wind up being Dexter's opportunity in some sort of main event title match, either North American or just the NXT. Candice comes out, smashes Indy to stop her from bringing Dexter into the back, and should be the beginning of the end of the relationship of Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, which, again, I want to fuel my Dexter Lumis into the main event. I'm not quite sure how it's done, but I think we're all just going to be on Dexter and Indy's side, and we'll be cheering for them. So that's where that fuel comes from. Mike, your dishonorable mention for AEW.
Matt, if I had a time machine, would I use that time machine to pause what we're doing right now, turn on Peacock, look up the year 2000, and watch Matt Hardy versus Christian Cage?
In the year 2000.
Would I watch what happened on Wednesday between Christian and Matt Hardy 20 years later? So, in neither case, I don't need. It's over. The only way I see this paying off for me is the way that Cody and Goldust had a match, and even that's Cody's still just barely 40. If he's 40, he's like 38, 39. I don't need to see these guys wrestle. The only way I'd see it pay off is if it was some violent feud on a pay-per-view, and we knew that it was going to be like the last chapter of a story. Instead, it just seems like a streaming show that just won't end. But man, at least it brings me to moment number one. As much as I had to look at AEW, looking into the past, looking into the future, man, it was Darby Allin, unquestionably going to be the face of this company, battling all ego Ethan Page in a coffin match. And I love this gimmick. I do miss the ones where Undertaker or whoever would have the hand coming out of the fresh soil, as the last gasp. Just the big mounds of dirt and the shovels. But instead, they had a coffin at ringside. Had some of my favorite spots. We had a Scorpio Sky hiding out in the closed coffin. That was fun. Sting came out. A 60-year-old man beat up a 30-year-old man. Gotta love that. And then after we saw a victory there, hi, creepy. My lady's scaring the shit out of me out the window.
Oh, I was kind of hoping Dexter Lumis was out there.
Yeah, I thought I was about to have a nice moment with Dexter. But Darby, after he won, he got Ethan in the coffin and still did a coffin drop onto the coffin. So it was a coffin on coffin drop. Really loved that spot. And that did it. That did it for me. Matt, your dishonorable mention for NXT.
Well, real quick, Amy's all about Index right now, and I can't agree more. She's also right there with you on the Matt Hardy and Christian. What are we doing? But dishonorable mention, Mike, I got to go with just the fear I feel with Frankie Monet taking Camilla under her wing. And because I was all about Frankie Monet, and her entrance is just amazing. I mean, eyes glued to the TV when she comes in. She is just oozing charisma and character. I just don't want this to turn into being about making sure Camilla gets lifted up. Kind of in the same way it looks like Ember Moon, who we both love, is going to just fall to the wayside. And Frankie Monet might be next. So there's my fear.
It's a real fear.
Yeah. I can actually give you a full dishonorable mention, but it could also just go my way. So, but number one was easy, Mike. Samoa Joe. I'm actually like the whole thing for me was him stealing the show for that main event match of Karrion Kross and Gargano, because they really know how to do an NXT wrestling show. They know how to do a wrestling show, period. They didn't just give you an amazing match where everybody was tweeting online, oh my God, Johnny Gargano is actually going to pull this off. Johnny Wrestling is going to knock down Karrion Kross. And you tell that amazing story, and then right in the middle of it, and part of the reason that we were all kind of thinking maybe Johnny had a chance was because of Samoa Joe and his, I guess, the way he chose to referee that match. And then at the end, what you got was a tease that now Samoa Joe is involved, even though he's been told by William Regal that he can't wrestle. He's now in the middle of two different feuds, one with Adam Cole and one with Karrion Kross. And Mike, we could be building to one of the greatest NXT main events of all time if you're going to be telling me there's a triple threat coming soon of Karrion Kross, Adam Cole, and Samoa Joe. And somewhere there could be a Kyle O'Reilly mixed in there because he seems to be on the edge as well. But if that triple threat happens, holy fucking Christ, is that going to be the NXT match of the decade? And I mean, starting from 2020, that's going to be a hell of a match. It's going to be a hell of a story. And they're doing a wonderful job of getting me juiced and excited for it. I still think if that were to happen, we could be talking at a build that's like Triple H Sting length build. So Survivor Series to WrestleMania kind of length here. But I love these. I mean, all three of my wins this week were about progressing new stories and giving us teases, which, Mike, you and I both love Loki. And what do we get? I think you did watch the new episode of Loki last night. Mike, we got the tease of the fucking century on Loki in that last episode. How about the entire MCU is about to change? But that's what you want with your pro wrestling. And I got that 3 times on NXT. Just, you asked before which show won the night. NXT was an episode of television. It got you excited for the next week. And with every time we've mentioned so far on this show that Raw and SmackDown just makes you go, oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 2 hours and 59 minutes left. NXT does not do that.
Can I bring up real quick how weird it is that WWE made news by releasing wrestlers, and now they're going to prominently feature Zelina Vega in a Money in the Bank match and prominently feature Samoa Joe against their NXT champion?
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. Matt, I hope we have enough time here.
Before we
did
move
your
on,
number one. What? Oh, here we go.
Amy threw out there. She wanted to discuss going back to Dynamite. So I had already started talking about my NXT number one, but we got Amy. You put in the work, so we're gonna do it. Okay. I waited a night for this. I enjoyed Dynamite, but not the ending. Here comes the preachy old school gal rant. The ending of Darby Allin versus Ethan Page encapsulates my biggest frustration with 2021 pro wrestling and why I believe the mainstream audience has turned away from professional wrestling. Ethan Page power bombs Darby Allin onto the steel steps from the top, or maybe the middle rope. Looked awesome, great spot, a little dangerous. Oh no, it's cut off! Oh my gosh, I gotta go to Facebook. Mike, do you know where Amy's going with this? Because I had not watched the ending of that match, but
I know the spot being referenced, but I don't know if she just meant that he's taking too dangerous of bumps on a regular Wednesday night. Yeah, I would definitely want to see the rest of that quote. Right. I know the spot that she's talking about. Darby does not shy away from taking bumps, and I don't know if he just makes them look more violent than they are, or it's that he looks like he only weighs about 160 pounds and they just look more punishing on his little body.
I got the rest of the message.
Yeah, when he thunders through the steel, it's pretty jarring as an audience member. But yeah,
so Amy goes on. Less than 30 seconds later, Allin is on his feet. Now Amy said hell, but I'm going to say it for her. What the fuck? Seriously, he took that huge bump, put himself at real risk, and totally discredited the entire spot by basically no-selling it and being on his feet right away. Then, less than a minute and a half later, he's climbing with no selling whatsoever to the top turnbuckle to celebrate his win. I know they were pressed for time, but then don't do that spot. Cut out part of the stuff earlier in the match so that spot can get extra time it needs. When old wrestlers, old school fans like myself talk about the younger generation of wrestlers crapping all over their own work, this is what they're talking about. It made Page look weak. If Allin would have sold properly, like it happened in a real fight on a real steel plate, would have made him look tough as hell. Instead, it became a wasted spot that nobody will remember a month from now. Amy, I think we need to devote a whole episode to this coming up soon. But it's a great point, because what was I just talking about was I like my NXT because it makes me feel like I'm watching just regular television. I'm not just I'm not giving it the pro wrestling glasses where I go, well, this gets a pass because it's pro wrestling. No, I'm watching TV. So what would make the most sense for an episode of television when you throw a guy into a steel plate? Just probably lay down on the ground for a little bit. So this is a very common conversation in many pro wrestling circles, and
yeah, I mean, it's not just the fans with strong opinions on that. It's people like Stone Cold Steve Austin who will ask, "What do you nobody sells a DDT anymore. You used to win matches with that, and now it's just kind of a transitionary move into something else." With that said, so I think that Amy and Stone Cold are on the same page. With that said, Stone Cold does a Fez press, and that used to finish matches. There used to be, a lot of like arm bars, and then we used punches. And was it the Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson, who used to win with just like a bump, like a running bump, and the match was over. I guess the tough part for me is it does feel like it's evolved a bit, and even the guys that I love kind of took advantage of moves that used to be finishers and turned them into just part of their ring resume, right? Even Stone Cold was guilty of that at times. Yeah. So it's tough because I see where they want to sell. But it also feels hypocritical from someone like Stone Cold to incorporate, a punch. He used to take a double elbow off the middle rope. He used to throw in a Thez press. So it just seems like it was okay for him, but then he gets a little critical of, other guys.
I mean, if I could sneak in there, I mean, to defend Amy's point, she's not talking about a Thez press. She's not talking about a DDT, This is an opportunity to have the power guy do a power move into a bad area and have it look like the power move did something. So I guess like to the point of it failing from a realism standpoint is that it's just then we're jumping out of it and we're going, well, how many acrobatic stunts can we fit into this match before it's over? Before our 10 minutes are up, instead of it being, what story are we going to tell? And I think that's where it's starting to separate from what the old school wrestling fan is used to and what wrestling is evolving into, is we're detaching ourselves from can we tell a good story, and more or less trying to look for that. How many times can we get the fans out of their seat, and how many times can we create a video that we can just put on YouTube and people are going to rewatch that 1,000 times? That's kind of what it feels like it's turning into.
I think I like a lot of people share Amy's opinion. I think the problem for me is that when it gets, maybe for her and people like, in Stone Cold, they're like, this is already it. We're already at kind of the worst point. I'm just wondering what it's gonna take. Oh yeah. Not even a finisher. I just mean that moves that used to be finishers are now just like a DDT is just run of the mill. Everybody does a DDT. You have to do a tornado DDT, and then you have to do a top rope DDT, and then you have to do a spinning tornado top DDT with a double team.
I think either I'm out or Mike is out.
No, you went out for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the internet died for a minute. But yeah, at some point, I mean, you're gonna run out of ways to keep like raising the stakes, right? And just have like a weekly, 15-minute wrestling match on TV. Yeah, I don't know what the future's gonna hold, but I guess I was able to digest it, like some fast food. And I guess that's just kind of a match style when I see Darby. That guy, he sells everything so well. I get where Amy's coming from. I don't even disagree. I can still. It doesn't bother me yet to the point where like I would watch a little bit less of a Darby Allin match, I guess.
It could be too that where I've come out and said what I said about either side. It also comes down to the viewer, and if this is going to evolve, because I've made it very apparent over the last year. I'm a huge fan of like these 2-hour pay-per-views that we had before, when we were doing Thunderdome pay-per-views. That's my jam. That's my shit right there. And you get a lot of matches that aren't telling super long stories, but they're like getting the job done. Everybody's getting their spots. You're telling an okay story, and it's clearly not going to be as good because the fans help fuel the story. But I mean, that's me right there. If wrestling evolved into telling just shorter matches so Matt can go to bed earlier, I was a huge fan of that. So I'm to defend Amy's point, I'm also being a little bit of a hypocrite too, because my evolution of pro wrestling involved just things being a lot shorter. But you get shorter matches by going the Darby Allin route, and I gotta say,
I think on this show too, Matt. I think the up to like 11 for a Darby Allin match, like what Amy's describing, is like a Young Bucks tag match.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think I speak for both of us, it's not our particular cup of tea. And that does feel like the worst version of we don't have to sell anything. Super kicks are nothing. So that for me, it's, when we talk about the circus, wrestling being the circus, and there's other tents that I'd rather explore and watch rather than the Young Bucks one. That's where I'd rather watch, like the Jon Moxley match, right? Where that does feel a little bit more grounded in reality, that it is, more of a, two predators trying to knock each other out and, in a blood brawl, as opposed to, Darby, flinging himself through a closed casket to hit an opponent he already defeated.
Right.
It's a fun visual, but does it really make sense? No. But it is a freak show version, a freak show tent that I do, want to peruse once in a while. So I don't even disagree with Amy. I know that my own tastes, I can still find enjoyment in those other types of moves, and I'm even willing to suspend disbelief, because I kind of know what kind of recipe I'm about to have the two wrestling chefs put in front of me.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to that point I was making too, where it's like if wrestling wants to leave us behind, then that's where we make our choice of what we're going to watch, and that also feeds into your point of the multiple tents. And I'm just going to go find another tent to watch. What's funny is we're having this conversation, and all three of us are very big AEW fans. It so happens that you get what AEW is doing right now. They are doing the circus. They do have a ton of different tents, and some people are just happy to see that it's under the AEW brand and they don't really mind what's going on. And some of us, we'll watch it and go, well, just because it's here on this show doesn't mean it's an A+. I'm not saying you're doing that. Oh, do not. I'm saying there are other folk. There's a lot of people who will give the match a free pass for that reason. But
you know what? That is a strong point in WWE's favor, because I think one of WWE's strengths, they talk so much about WrestleMania moments. And Amy made that point about, is this something you're going to remember in a week? Probably not. I loved that match, and I'm probably not going to remember that horrific spot. I'm just going to remember the idea of Darby sacrificing himself for my 15 minutes of entertainment. And AEW, I feel like, has botched every big moment that they've ever tried to do, with some horrible low-light video that just gets cackles and snark on Twitter. Meanwhile, like the week-to-week WWE program has just been dog shit. But they still do have big moments. Even in the Thunderdome, we still had Drew talking to the camera and saying, "Thank you, I love you." And I'm still going to think about that, and I think of Drew McIntyre. But am I going to think about his week-to-week feuds with, the same couple guys ad nauseum, and to the point I don't even want to see him fight Jinder Mahal anymore? No, but I am going to think of nice moments between the two of them. So it's kind of weird that they kind of split that up like that.
All right, that's a great point. It does take away a little from what I was kind of thinking was going on. I mean, it still lends to like the Instagram world, right? It still lends to having those little tiny clips that you can just keep posting online. But yeah, to have an Instagram post stick with you, which maybe this is where this idea works. I mean, how often are you going around? Besides sharing it with your private groups on Instagram, how often are you coming back to a meme you saw a couple of months ago, going to a new group of friends and saying, man, I don't know if I've shown this to you guys. I've tried to show it to everybody. It's been a couple of months. Look at what this alligator says to the squid. And that might be what the difference is. Is it possibly just we're creating Instagram moments and somebody else is creating?
I would say that AEW succeeds as an Instagram feed. And WWE is more like Sneezing Panda. Where you can just say Sneezing Panda and you know exactly what I'm talking about and you're in that moment.
Little baby panda.
And we're going to talk about it now with Dolph Ziggler, Money in the Bank.
Good transition. I was wondering how we were going to get out of this.
Man, I'm just going to run through the list of roughly like 10 past years or so. Matt Otis won the Money in the Bank last year. Obviously, didn't even get to cash in. Lost it to The Miz. Asuka cashes in, kind of. When Becky got pregnant. Brock Lesnar, successful. Bayley, successful. Strowman, poo-poo. Alexa, successful. Carmella. Well, first James Ellsworth won. And then we all had a riot on Twitter. And then WWE's like, just kidding. Here's the real women's match. And then Carmella won and cashed in. Baron Corbin. Ambrose. Hey. Sheamus. Yay. Rollins. Oh, my God. Sandow. Flop. Orton. Yay. Cena. Yay. And Matt, Money in the Bank. Arguably the GOAT of Money in the Bank. Dolph Ziggler. The Sneezing Panda of Money in the Bank winners. You will never forget that moment. No. And that brings us to this year's Money in the Bank matches and pay-per-view.
That's 10 years old. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely Otis is, unfortunately kind of in the grouping with Sandow and James Ellsworth winning on behalf of the women's division. But, I mean, we've still had, pretty much a who's who of winners. Asuka, Lesnar, Alexa, Moxley, Rollins, Cena. And, I don't know if you want to jump right into the Money in the Bank matches. We could just go, this is what the card is, Matt. And I want you to pick the match you're most excited to talk about. We'll start with that. There's going to be a Raw Tag Team Championship match. AJ and Omos versus the Viking Raiders. Matt, Rhea Ripley is going to defend her championship against Charlotte. Universal Championship match, 1-on-1. Spear versus Spear. Edge versus Roman. Kofi of the New Day versus Bobby versus Bob. Sorry, for the WWE Championship. And then for the men, Matt, fighting for that precious briefcase, you got Rollins, King Nakamura, who has to come out with a guitar entrance from our beloved guitar player. Who I hope someday he actually gets to wrestle. We're talking about our boy Eric Buchenhagen. Matt, Kevin Owens, Big E, Drew McIntyre, Riddle, Ricochet, and John Morrison. That's a pretty stacked group. And then for the women, for their briefcase, going to be Selena returning. My God, what a profile match. Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross. Are we going by Nikki Cross or her new superhero name?
I typed in Nikki Cross.
You made your choice.
Clearly,
Ash,
I typed in Nikki Cross.
The superhero. Okay, and then after Ash, Liv Morgan, Natty, Naomi, and Tamina.
Can I reveal? I've watched so little Raw and SmackDown. I have no idea what her superhero name is. So, Mike, if you want, Ash. You can call her that. All right. Yeah.
Well, let's do this, Matt. This
Wait, what is it?
It's Ash.
Oh,
Almost a superhero. Yeah, I know. So we got 6 matches, Matt. Start the one you're most excited about. Let's give that the most time.
the Raw Tag Team Championships: AJ Styles and Omos versus the. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. I don't think the people in that match are excited for that, but go ahead.
I mean, the Money in the Bank ladder match on the men's side, I feel like for me, this is just a who's who of whoever wins this. This is going to be fun. And I'm including John Morrison in that list because clearly The Miz had fun with it. And I think John Morrison could have just as much fun. I will say The Miz having held it probably right away eliminates John Morrison. But, I mean, just think about it. Seth Rollins, Nakamura, Kevin Owens, Big E, Drew McIntyre, Riddle, and Ricochet. How are any one of those guys going to be a disappointment? Either they get this...
Oh, they'll find a way, man.
Either they get this rocket to the moon, like Ricochet could use, or we just get to keep our favorite guys in the main event, like Drew. But number one for me in this match has got to be going back... God, I think we would be going back 3 years to when I guaranteed Big E was going to win the Money in the Bank, and he did not. I think this is a great position for him to take it because he's supposed to be getting a main event shot, and this keeps Big E super relevant. The only issue is that I know we like to have our heels hold the Money in the Bank because it's a little bit more interesting, which kind of elevates the idea of Seth Rollins getting it out of this entire group. And is it okay Seth Rollins winning again? Yeah.
I'm going to give you the odds on this because I love the Vegas odds. Are you ready for this?
Shoot.
Lowest on the totem pole, John Morrison. Second lowest.
Like I said.
Hold on. Second lowest, Ricochet. Third lowest, breaks my heart. Eric Bugenhagen's entrance not working out. Nakamura. Kevin Owens. Drew McIntyre. Matt, number 4 for odds. Not even officially in the match, but he has a better chance of winning than Nakamura, is John Cena. Number 3, Seth Rollins. Number 2, Matt Riddle. And that means the easy money is Big E. And I got to say, I probably would have predicted that before, if only because if you want to see... I mean, who are our champs? We got Bob and we got Roman. This is the time to have, kind of a more fun-loving, good-natured, good-hearted championship holder to sneak in and finally rid us of these two evils in Bob and Roman. This is Big E's to lose.
Something huge to happen at the end of this, right? Because there are going to be fans, right, at Money in the Bank?
Yes. So I would immediately off the bat just eliminate Rollins, Morrison, Ricochet.
I'm not. The huge thing, Mike, is Big E wins the Money in the Bank and goes to cash. Oh my God! What if he went to cash in on Kofi? Oh, holy fuck! Woo! Shit. Oh my God! Oh my God!
That would be the most rewarding experience. Do you see what I mean with AEW being the week to week and WWE doing the moments? We've sat through a year and a half of bullshit on Raw, and all will be forgiven if Big E cashes in against a fallen Kofi or avenges the death of Kofi against Bob.
That was the one I was going to say.
That is a win-win for us.
Yeah, I think you give Bob if
we played. Listen, Matthew, you introduced a segment today, guys who jumped ship, and you would never watch WWE again. Now they're one moment away from bringing you back in and taking all your money. You're going to be buying Big E shirts left and right. You're going to be going to their pay-per-views, spending money. Matt, does this bring you back? Does this bring you back from the edge?
If Big E
winning Money in the Bank and then cashing in some capacity that night.
That means, right, we're talking Big E is going to be headlining Monday Night Raw this Monday. I'm saying it right now. Let me look into the camera.
Wait, let me switch. Okay, I want to see this.
Here, wait. Let me do this. I don't care if my daughter's still awake.
Wait. Let me see I want to see myself too.
All right, we'll blow them both up.
There we go. Oh,
I don't care if my daughter's still awake. I don't care if some mishap happened and my kitchen floods again. I guarantee I will be sitting in front of my TV. Mike, I will watch Monday Night Raw from 8 to 11 for the first time in the longest time with not having to look at highlights or anything. I'm gonna not pull a Buddy Murphy and just watch highlights online. I'm gonna watch Monday Night Raw because of Big E.
Here's what bothers me. I think they know this. I think they know that they could just give us bullshit for 18 months and know that with one night they'll bring you right back into the WWE machine, Matt. You'll just be another money cog.
That's fine. Give me what I want. Isn't that what
your hard-earned money going into those John Morrison fireworks?
What's
slow-mo camera?
What's more exciting though on Monday? Is it seeing the New Day celebration or is it seeing Big E explain his actions?
If Big E wins, I will be going to work on Monday at the water cooler. We don't even have a water cooler. I'm going to have to bring in a water cooler and ask people if they watched wrestling the night before, how exciting it was. They're going to say, no, I haven't watched wrestling since I was 13. It'll be like, you guys, all right, let me tell you about the New Day.
Can I make a suggestion for your water cooler?
Please do.
Can you get one of those big, get a Big E one, like a sticky, put it on the water cooler and have, a suggestive area for where the water comes out and have that start the conversation?
I might fill it with milk. And then have boxes of Bootios right next to it.
Oh, okay.
Celebratory Bootios. Matt, do you feel this is the most energy we've had this whole show? And it's just at the prospect of a WWE moment. That is marketing right there. I don't think there's any better way to book that match or
it's storytelling.
The WWE Championship going forward.
Yeah. No, I 1,000%. This is how it should go down. This is one of the questions I wanted to ask today is, does that briefcase get cashed in? Mike, I'm telling you right now, if this match ends the night and I don't get to see that briefcase get cashed in, I am not watching Monday Night Raw. I'm going to say, oh, this is the same baloney.
I don't think they're going to run that risk. This is their first live pay-per-view. I'm not counting WrestleMania. That was poo-poo. It's too far away from the ring. It doesn't count. This is the first live one. You can't do better than Big E. Matt, second most. Go ahead, ask me the match I'm second most excited about.
I really want you to say something in particular. Mike, what's the second? What's second on your list for what you're most excited for on Money in the Bank?
Lashley and Kofi.
Oh, okay. I wanted you to say the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
I'm just going to say it. Third most, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth most.
Right.
No.
We
not just
had
because
that
of the prospect of Big E.
Right.
But arguably Kofi and Bob are the only two who've really, dug their heels in and tried to tell some story in what we're calling COVID wrestling, where you just fight the same guy, seemingly for the duration of the pandemic. I don't know if there's much more to add here. I don't think there's a lot of Kofi winning is not very likely. It's much more likely that Big E, who's not in this match, will leave the champion rather than Kofi.
Yeah. We'll leave the arena, right? I completely agree with that. The conversation has run itself dry because of our excitement of Big E winning the Money in the Bank and hopefully cashing in on whoever wins that night. To go back to who would I prefer? I would prefer the New Day celebration. That makes more sense for a new crowd coming back on Monday Night Raw. I think they need to do a huge New Day celebration. That would be great. Now, if Kofi wins and Big E comes out with that Money in the Bank to celebrate with Kofi, that could be a little interesting on Monday. But I'm telling you right now, I am guaranteed in my seat if Big E wins the championship. I don't know. I'll just say there's a possibility. Just for Vince, if you're listening, there's a possibility I'll watch on Monday if that's what happens. But
the only thing that makes me think that he's going to win the briefcase. That doesn't makes me think he's not going to cash in. Is you're taking what could be two massive Biggie moments and turning it into one. So it's like when your parents get divorced, you know, and I think Mike Lawrence also found out they were moving. He was upset because he got all this news in one sit down, and he's supposed to get an ice cream trip per news, and instead he learned all of it at once. So we could get two ice cream trips, or we could just get one if they do everything in one night. I think that's the biggest case against Big E cashing in.
Yeah, but I do agree with you though. Like we're bringing fans back, and we could tell an amazing story. I think you tell a fine story if it goes any other way. You tell a predictable, maybe not predictable, but just overdone story if it's Lashley and Big E comes out on Monday with the briefcase. Like that does not get me to tune into Monday Night Raw. But yeah, a celebration certainly does.
Let's do this. So we got the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Matt, immediately, I want you to eliminate 3 people in the field. Let me remind everybody who's in it. Zelina, Asuka, Alexa, Ash, Liv Morgan, Natty, Naomi, and Tamina. Matt, off the bat, 3 people who are not going to
win. Natty, Tamina, and Asuka.
Okay. So, Matt, you did pretty good. The ones with the highest odds were Asuka. She was at plus 1,000. So here we go. Matt, third best odds. Fourth best odds, because at number 2 is again somebody who's not in the match.
Oh, Becky.
Don't you love these? Becky actually came in at number 5.
Oh shit! So it's Ronda Rousey.
No, it's less exciting. Number 4 is Ash at 500. Matt, number 3, Liv Morgan. Number 2, Sasha Banks. And with the best odds to win the women's Money in the Bank, Alexa Bliss?
Yeah, there's a reason I didn't say that I was super excited for this match, and it's hard for me to look at any of these and not just look at it from like a fan perspective, like who am I the biggest fan of, right? And to pick it that way. And I am a big fan of Alexa Bliss. Also a huge fan of Asuka, but I clearly know that she's not going to win. And then, you want Nikki Cross because she's been trying and fighting so hard, and you also know that's not going to happen. Mike, Natty, and Tamina, who is, I believe, just added tonight. As I was putting the notes together,
her odds.
What the fuck? What are we doing here?
Tamina's odds are below Maya Yim, who also is not even in the match.
Yeah. If you look at WWE.com, they still have the main picture does not include Tamina, but if you click on the article, there she is. But yeah, Naomi probably should be at the top of my list, but there's something that there's something about my knowledge of the WWE and like the odds of that happening it's just one of those things that it just hasn't happened for Naomi for so long. It almost has become this, well, of course Naomi's not going to win, and it's because of their previous choices.
Listen, Matt, yeah. We're gonna fire you. Okay. Just kidding. You are rehired. Do you want to come back? I know we just fired you, but do you want to come back?
Sure. I like money.
That's it. Pretty easy for us. I guess what I was getting at is Zelina Vega fired, and then they said, "Hey, what if you come back and not follow your husband to AEW?" Why the fuck would I do that? You didn't hear our offer yet. Not only are we going to give you a big bag of money, we're going to actually let you win a match. What? Matt, if you have money to gamble with, I think this is your weekend to do it and put it on the long shot, Zelina Vega. Alexa Bliss she is going to get ruined probably by The Fiend on her ascent up the ladder. This is probably where he returns. We set up something for SummerSlam. I don't know why her odds are so high. I would put Liv Morgan above Alexa. But I think this might be Vega's opportunity to... This is what she's designed for. the opportune time to become champion. She's a motor mouth. She does not have a huge wrestling body. Every time I see a wrestler, I'm just kind of scared because I know there's not a lot of protective muscle there. So that's why they don't really let her wrestle all the time. We don't get to see it. But I feel like if she could sneak in and steal a championship, that, oh my God, just written all over her abilities there, and she would be perfect at taunting with it. Matt, you gonna wager the house, wager the mortgage on Zelina Vega with me?
No. I think there's a lot to be said for the odds that come out in Vegas.
Yeah,
so no.
I can't disagree with the men's side, but Alexa, I would not. No, I don't believe in that one at all. Matt, any of the other matches kind of tickle your fancy over there?
I mean, Roman Reigns and Edge. Edge will be fun to see that entrance. It'll probably be even more fun at SummerSlam. And now we need to figure out a way to get, to keep Edge interesting until SummerSlam. So that's where my interest is at. That's where I'm excited for this match, is to see what happens. And we've been told, fucking Goldberg is showing up. So, it's funny. Before we started recording, the last thing I was editing was our top 10 things that pro wrestling fans love to bash, and we ended that segment talking about legends. And you fought me on how we should give Goldberg a pass because he was our childhood. But here we fucking go again, and not happy about it. But hopefully Goldberg doesn't get too involved in that. But I guess they might want to do spear versus spear versus spear. Woo! So there you go. There you go.
Well,
but yeah. I mean, it's still. I guess the idea is I don't know for sure what's going to happen because I want to know what goes on with Edge going into SummerSlam. And I don't think it's as easy as just like, well, let's just queue up Randy versus Edge again. I don't think it's going to be that. But I mean, there's certainly a possibility.
The tea leaves are, we thought Lesnar was coming back, but it looks like they might not get him. So we're going to get the other guy from, Botch City match of special guest referee Stone Cold for Lesnar and Goldberg. We're going to get the other guy. We couldn't get Brock, but we got Bill. So it's going to probably maybe be Bill versus Bob at SummerSlam.
Anything you're interested in then, I guess, besides that one?
No.
Yeah, I mean, they've really killed Rhea for me, and the Raw Tag Team Championships. I mean, sure, I love AJ Styles. Sure, I love the Viking Raiders, but that's one I won't be like, oh my God, I missed it. Shoot.
I'm still fascinated that as we, AJ's on the back 9 of his career. He's probably on the 17th hole, and he's still dedicating so much of his life to making Omos look credible. I don't know what that's going to end with. I mean, they're going to break up at some point, and AJ is going to be in a big man match against Omos in a career-ending match.
Oh, no.
It will be a stunning conclusion to AJ's career if Omos is the one to retire. But we'll see how that pans out. Again, you're right. I like the Viking Raiders. I was pretty devastated when they were the Viking Experience, and I liked them. They kept getting boo-boos, and now they're finally healthy, and maybe WWE finally figures out how to build a tag team division, but probably not. And then Rhea and Charlotte, they found a way to ruin Rhea Ripley. They found a way for me to not care about Charlotte, and she used to be such a rooting interest. I'd be like, God, I just hope she loses, and now I'm just kind of indifferent. I'm like,
Yeah, I didn't think it was possible, and they're really trying to push this. Charlotte and Rhea going at it again.
They should call it, instead of again, once again. I'll throw a once in there. Once again.
Yeah, I mean, it takes either we could make the joke, it takes real effort or a real lack of effort, to jump into the cliches here to make both of these absolute super duper stars just fail to get me interested. But it took a lot of effort to do that. So that's impressive by the WWE that they managed to do that. But it also might be these two ladies are thinking to themselves, what the fuck is this bullshit? And that's why it's not coming off so great. Either way, I mean, they're failing Rhea Ripley because she was coming in as what should have been a dominant superstar. And you know what? She should have just completely laid out Charlotte and just made it a non-factor moving forward and just had her go on and fight somebody else. But with this bug not being able to go away, she can't flick off her shoulder. It just looks like we're destined for Charlotte to eventually take the title back, and then Rhea will sit in the middle of the women's division like everybody else who isn't a part of the 4 horsewomen. Sucks. Kind of looks like her destiny. Going back to how you really made me sad when you talked about Drew McIntyre being the new Sheamus. Really broke my heart. Definitely nailed it. And yeah, I think with that, now that we've come down from our high, and we probably shouldn't have even brought up these matches.
Let's just say Big E again. Just bring up Big E.
Big E winning the WWE Championship. This is how disconnected I am. I had to look at the notes and go, what fucking belt is it? All right, got it. WWE, it's this one, the WWE
let's ride
Championship.
off. I want to go off on those Big E positive vibes.
I ruined it. God damn it. Fucking WWE. All right. Tune into Red Wings chat. We're much more positive. Find us at BOD Podcast on Twitter. But yeah, if you are listening to the podcast, find us on YouTube. We are Brothers of Discussion. We also are on Twitch. As soon as Matt gets a half hour to himself, he's gonna go on Twitch and he's gonna try and play The Witcher. He's got some other games I've got downloaded. You guys just let me know what you want to play. We also have that WWE game. Maybe we can play that with each other. All right, that's it, Mike. Let's sail off. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Sorry I made it sad at the end again. And go
thank
pro
you to
wrestling.
that one lady who said we were cute.
Oh right, we were cute. Woohoo!